This is Joe Barrett, here with another episode of Paintbology 101. This time I got some awesome raw footage for you. Out playing at Warrior Paintball with local team Toronto Chargers. I'll basically breaking down a few points for you guys and just walking you guys through how a point's playing, why we're doing certain things the way we're doing, and explaining how to play good team paintball. So let's start off with this first pointer. Right here I'm just setting up our breakout, putting people in their spots, making sure they know their job and their spot and their audibles. I am the player in the middle with Run Cities on his back. So this is a real basic play on this layout. We have one guy go pretty short D side just up to that Dorito, a home Dorito shooting over him, waiting to hopefully kill a wide guy and contain that side. Myself shooting this snake side wide gap. Our two player on snake side not really playing as the snakes two. That's kind of more my job at this point. Just going up and shooting a crossfield zone to slow down the D side. And our one snake front player playing short snake roll, just going out for this first Aztec and trying to basically slowly move his way out towards snake way. So right now you can see we're all holding our zones. D side seems to be pretty short. Snake side is already out into the snake god and snake corner that I'm shooting past. I'm just basically going to keep dumping my gun that way. Hopefully my teammate in this god starts pushing his way out that way as well. That's going to help me out for when these dudes start to wrap. But you'll see these dudes are going to wrap to put pressure and start edging on me. And I'm just going to edge off, roll off right there on the snake gap, and there's the kill on the snake player. I'm just going to hold this gap. I think that corner player is about to go into the snake. Yep, he just went straight into the snake. That's my fault for dropping that gap, since my snake front player is looking to move, and I'm the only one really looking this way. At this point, it's at least kill one. Still 5 alive for my team. This snake player right now has, I don't think he has anybody really dedicated his way holding him up, but he needs to get in his snake and at least stop this guy down the wire. I'm going to fill out behind him and kind of support him and help his way in. But there's one guy left on the snake side, so we should be winning over here. I think we just lost our Dorito front player, but that Dorito insert just made his way back onto the wire. He still has my player up in the snake tower, just crossfield zoning over him. So we're still in control so far in this point. They're only as far as Dorito 1, which is not as far as my Dorito player. You can hear right there, I just forced my guy into the snake. Just popped the snake player trying to move through the gap. At this point, snake side's completely clear from home over to Dorito side. And with a player next to me in the snake side, and a player up the Dorito side, and a player watching over him, I know that I have all of this space to basically move and close the game. So I'm just going to edge my way up the field until I can get this Dorito side kill, and at that point my snake player is going to pinch out this home player with everyone else, and we're going to close this game out. Alright, here's another quick point, some raw footage I have from this weekend with Toronto Chargers. In this point I'll be playing Dorito front and just basically going up and out into the closest inside Dorito. That home player is going to be watching over me. Should be shooting at the widest guy, stopping the gaps, and then we'll have 3 guys working together snake side. Because of where the camera is going to move eventually in this point, there's only really so much I could talk about why we're doing the things we're doing at this point, but I can break down certain things like why someone's able to make a move, or a certain technique I might be able to do that you can add to your own game. So let's get to it. So I want to make that Dorito right in the center, that red Dorito.
And if I go straight there around this pin, it's only after this pin that people can actually put a lane to shoot you, thanks to that large center can. So you're going to see I'm going to run up basically straight towards that center can, which is somewhat risky because then no one's going wide initially to draw a gun, like say to the corner or this middle, this little mini A. So if I do get shot, that home guy is the next widest guy out. That's not a very good start. But going up to that center can is going to block me from a lot of paint off break. And then if I cut out right after this pin, I should be clear to go in as long as I'm low, blocked off by these wings right here up near the X from that home shooter. And you're going to see it's going to work, very well. Okay, so I dive in low. I get in there first, just by going there quickly, so I get gun dominance on this guy. Quick little gunfight there. At this point, he plays a smart shot and inside wraps from the inside right side of his Dorito, put me back in just to kind of relieve pressure off himself, maybe get back on the outside. What that does is also frees up this guy lined up with him in the mini A, and this dude is going to bump out into the next wide Dorito at the fault of my home guy, who should be holding that gap. I'm not sure why he's able to get through there. It seemed like he was kind of chopping paint too, so he couldn't even really put pressure on my home player, but there he goes, taking a second Dorito. Now he's in D2 right next to me, and my mirror's holding me. There's a snake player, there's a home. You can see I'm soaking up quite a bit of pressure here. My snake players are about to lose, quite a bit of space to live once that guy gets to the Dorito 50. At this point, we're going to lose this point, but I am going to shoot this guy out of the Dorito 3 with a little technique I've seen Justin Rabikoff use quite often, where he continues to press his barrel into the bunker in a spot where, the guy's expecting to exchange with you. You've been head checking or snapping there. Press into there and then get off your bunker and come up high and snap down on your opponent. And if you don't hit him in the first or second exchange, don't continue, but you're normally going to get the first few shots off uncontested because his first few balls coming back at you are going to be coming at your old spot. And you'll see that's exactly what I did. Dropped one guy and made the immediate rookie mistake of lining back up straight down the field, thinking that once this wide guy is dead, I can contain for a fill. I didn't have pressure on me, so I looked back downfield, but my mirror was baiting me without paint in the air. So when I did look at him, he was just already posted, ready to go. And my home guy back here is basically just fighting for his life at this point, on a 50 Dorito and several other players around the field. So that's game for this point. Once you have no D side, if he wasn't able to get out here damage control while I was caught in that gunfight, it's about to end relatively quickly.
Alright, so here's another quick raw footage point. Playing Dorito front with the Toronto Chargers line again. This particular point I'm lined up to play the Dorito corner off break. I'm just pretty much going to dig out there fast and guarantee I make it, running deep and just sliding in past, hopefully, a home guy's lane. I have one guy behind me who's going to delay and break shoot and then hopefully bust into that pin or Dorito. Basically, as the Dorito front player, I don't have to, if I'm not on my gun, I don't have to come to a certain spot and shoot for a certain guy off break. So I get the chance to kind of play my bunker as an audible, depending on what's going to happen. I'm going to run out there heads up off break, and if I see somebody going up the field or delaying extra at home and then going up towards the center like towers or can, I'm going to slide in there and just bring my gun up right in front of the X and hopefully chop up a guy who's going up the center. But if I'm going out there and I see a dude's mirroring up with me, like going out wide to the Dorito 2 or the corner, then I'm going to bring my gun up and hopefully catch him on the overside just by being a little bit faster than him. See, I'm looking downfield. I can see a guy comes out. You can see there he is diving onto the D2, and I just barely miss him trying to shoot over that Dorito 50 while he's diving back in. And at this point, I'm now, I've missed my break shot. I'm the front guy, so I realize that my next move is to find my way up the field. I'm not really, if I didn't kill or contain a dude going up the center, then I'm not really adding much pressure by being out here, not as far up the field as their Dorito front player. So I'm going to start probing to find who the guy is that's stopping me and trying to find a way up the field. You're going to see I'm going to check inside. I won't see anybody at the home or the center towers looking at me. So I'm going to realize it's this guy in the center Dorito throwing paint and pressure my way, and I'm going to basically try to find a way to either put him in or kill him, and then make my bump down the wire. You can see I'm putting pressure on that Dorito. I'm probing for the center guy stopping me. And there's the kill shot on the center Dorito. He's gone. Now I know nothing's stopping me. I just have to avoid my mirror. So I go inside. He sees me down that inside wire, so I dive in real quick. And I actually hurt my hamstring right there. But regardless, I make the bunker. And now I'm going to start looking for people that are up the snake, possibly sticking out to me. At this point, with this home guy putting constant pressure at me and a guy up the Dorito, like already down the wire, I'm the island over here. I'm out wide and there's no one in my corner or the support bunker next to me. So it's up to me basically just to not die to my spot. I just have to kind of live. My back player just dropped a lane and let this guy in the Dorito 50. He's actually out past me on the wire, so he lands a nice gray shot down the side of my leg or mask, and that's going to basically allow him to turn the field and win this point for them real quick. Our player's going to get out here to this mini A, but that's not quite wide enough to protect him or stop Ben from turning the field inwards on him. So it's only a matter of seconds here before he either gets pinched out or possibly tries to move forward and gets chopped up through a gun. You can see a snake player just crawled into the 50 area behind him. At this point, the only smart thing to do is suck in tight and protect himself from this 50 so the 50 can't get dominance on him and possibly wrap and shoot his snake players in the side. You can see his tower player is losing room up there too. But he's going to move inside for a reason I don't quite understand. I'd rather have gotten out to that tape Dorito or corner, but he's going to put himself in a pinch here between this snake and corner. And yeah, at this point it's just not good. You don't have a full field spread. All these players are stuck somewhat on the inside of the tape, and it's an uphill battle from here. This tip and effect player you're going to see is just going to keep playing on the outside of his bunker. At this point, he could play inside for that last guy in the snake side, but the snake player has to respect him at that 50 bunker regardless. So there's really not a point to waste gunfighting with him when he can just continue to turn the field. And he's going to trade out with that Tipman player, which is a good move for that Tipman player, but not the right move since he has no one else over here. It's going to leave this side completely empty, and I believe cost them a 2-on-1 on the other side of the field. Alright, here's another raw footage point of Toronto Chargers. I'm not playing with them this point, but this is going to be a breakout, and I'm going to break down basically why this play doesn't work for them. We were testing multiple things throughout the day, and I was explaining them how to pick high probability and low probability plays. But I'm not exactly sure how this play even got thrown out in the mix. I wouldn't have chose this. I don't know what went down, but I'll break down exactly why you wouldn't want to do this right here. So you're going to have a snake guy going wide, a snake insert, a home shooting snake way, a home shooting D way and delaying, and then a D guy. The problem with this breakout is this snake guy is not going to go wide. He's only going to go one bunker out. And at that point, this insert guy either has to delay at the home until he has a spot, or he has to go up into that tower so he's not doubled or possibly tripled up with this 3 guy and maybe a delaying Dorito side guy. Instead, he is going to come out and edge, which is helpful if you want to shoot at a guy running to the snake tower or shooting at your wide snake player from home. Except for since your player only went to this Aztec, you're you're helping him make a move that he would have likely made off break anyways. At this point, this guy is going to realize he has to make a decision. You can either sit here in the open, come back into home, go out of that tower, double up this Aztec with his mirror, or make the wrong decision he's about to, which is try to fill out past him. So he puts in a tower and goes, and just doesn't go directly into the bunker. It seemed like he either wasn't quite sure if he was going to go to the corner, or God just going to figure out when he got out there, or wanted to block out one gun, but it didn't block out a second one when he was making the L move up into that God. Regardless, the obvious mistake right here is filling past your player in this Aztec, and I'll explain why that is right here. So your player's stopping short. At this point, the home, the tower, whatever it is downfield that is shooting the snake zone, realize they didn't even try to go to snake or God or corner off break. Now he knows all he has to do is sit here and dump paint in front of this God. Yeah. And whether this guy puts in his mirror and tries to go, or somebody randomly tries to like slingshot beyond him, either way, that doesn't matter the person. That player is getting chopped up in the zone. So this player is going to put in one guy, probably heads up downfield, and go right through a rolled off zone, come in tight to dodge the mirror, and get shot by that center guy when he comes back out. At that point, you're throwing away a body that was supposed to be over here, either supporting or containing this way. And this point is going to be an uphill fight from there just because of that. On top of that, this player just made a move out with his gun down and no paint, so he just lost any ability to stop his mirror or another player from making a move. He basically has to keep his gun rolling or take up a zone. But the rest of this point is difficult to talk about. All three of these guys are obviously looking the same way, so that's a mistake right there. But and you're going to see that cost a player when this Dorito 2 on the other side gets into the Dorito 50 and begins to turn the field and wrap on him. Hard to tell what happened to the other guy that went Dorito side off break the other way, but you could tell this was not a good breakout right off the back set up on the snake side. Alright guys, here's another raw footage point for Paintbology, playing him with Chargers. This point I'm playing as the 2 on snake side. We're going to have a guy come out short to this first Aztec, and we're going to have actually 3 stacked up in back center of this point. The home guy is that dude in the black going in close. The 2 on Doritos delaying on the D side, only one shooting D-way. And I'm playing in the 2 off the back of it, or in the 3 spot off the back of it as well. But I'm not actually really playing the home spot. You'll see I live in here for quite a while. Actually, all 3 of us do. But it's because the home guy is the only one really focusing on shooting that wide guy's lane. And I'm basically keeping myself alive on the 2-player and edging shooters until I have the ability to move. At this point, I'm just going to come out and stay heads up until my back player gets up there and shuts the zone down, which he does. So I just kill the home guy. I'm going to fill out to this Aztec. At this point, this snake player up in the 50 is actually their 2. I've already shot their snake player off break. Their 2 dipped in quickly while I was inserting, and their 3 guy is up in the center tower. So at this point, if he stays wrapped on me, it's game over. This is a very talented snake front player in this game against us, but I don't think he realizes that as the 2, he's the only one out here with a 3 guy who decided to go up the center of the field rather than come out. Here's the problem with this. Right now, I can see when he crawls up into this next bunker, he's basically getting too close. There is a point of aggression where it's too much, and a front player has to kind of realize when to take a certain spot. So I'm just going to edge up until I can see his hopper, his barrel tip. There's the kill shot, and now I'm going to immediately probe around. At this point, I should probably be switching hands to play tight if I'm expecting to avoid paint or gunfight someone. But I'm just trying to turn my body square away from the player that I know is up D side in the Dorito 1 or 2 area. At this point, I know it's 2 on 3, and I've just effectively turned the field. So I'm just going to commit to this side and guarantee that I keep this side dead or from filling. And he's going to go. I'm going to lane him out. He caught me with a nice shot, but he basically, he made a good move, but not the right move because he threw away his body. It threw away this entire side of the field. My home guy is going to realize this and begin to spread the field towards Snake Way. And that player in the home and that player in the Dorito are going to effectively kill this last player in the Dorito 2 together. Hey guys, this is another quick raw footage point for Paintbology 101. Playing with Toronto Chargers. This particular point I'm playing the 3 shooting Snake Way. I got my buddy Benny Canister here playing the 1 going right to the snake corner. And I got his buddy Choi playing here in the 2 spot, edging to help him get out there and then shooting downfield from the Aztec. Looks like off break. Benny gets bounced going into that corner, but it draws the gun long enough that Choi realizes there's nothing stopping him and he starts bumping under the gaps into that God. I apparently bounced the snake off break too, showed a little frustration with it, and right now I'm just keeping myself alive behind my gun, stopping his little snake gap. It's a small gap, but I can keep feeding paint through it. And I can hear D3. So at this point, you got to realize that you have to hide each guy behind their gun to, the side they can live and shooting towards the way that it's getting sketchy for them. I realize this in my head from seeing this situation plenty of times. So I'm going to slide across over into this first Aztec and then shoot a crossfield zone at that Dorito 3. Now, if the Dorito 3 is wrapping to make a move, you can't just put in a home guy and go. He'd have to wrap all the way around his bunker on this crossfield Aztec, and I'm going to be shooting, a little bit wider gap even from there than we would be from here. It's going to make it a little bit harder for him on D side to get going or to even, put pressure on one of us back guys. As you can see, this back center stops the snake gap just fine. So what I need to happen right now is for one of us to get into this Aztec and take up that D zone, and for the other one to stay on this zone that I'm shooting right here, but have a whole bunker to live. At this point, my snake guy and snake 2 are already bailed out to the wide spots, so I realize I kind of have the ball to move out there and then fill up the zone better. But I'm not just going to do that and double up a zone with Luca and leave my zone. I'm going to let him know exactly what I want to do and make sure he knows, exactly when to switch while I do it. So let's listen to, me basically quarterback that and break it down for him right here.
Hey, when I tell you, I'm going to slide over to this A, we're going to cross up. I'll shoot D3, you shoot snake 1, all right? Ready? Go.
And you could see, with no hesitation, he trusted that I was telling him to do this for a reason, and as soon as he felt me leave off him, he switched over and started rolling his gun through the gap. Now that snake player is still stuck. He's not getting into the 2 or 3 because he felt me move and get off him, and I'm going to slide into that Aztec and immediately take up the lane between D3 and D50. Later on in that point, we would shoot out that D3 moving up to the D50 and kind of free up that side for our front player to begin turning it and basically win from the Dorito side of the field, just off of that little teamwork move set up right there.